What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome. This is Ottawa. This is Volleyball Nations League. I'm Rob St. Clair. This is Everett DeLorme, and we are live from day number 2 of men's VNL here in Ottawa. 2 matches today.
Two matches.
4 teams that we have not seen yet.
And 2 banger matches.
2 bangers.
Two banger matches. First one we've got, they're warming up right behind us. You can see it's going to be Poland against Argentina. 2 teams that have a lot of depth. Didn't necessarily bring their top guys, but have a lot of depth, so it's going to be fun to watch. And then later tonight, we got Italy versus France, which is going to be another banger. You're going to be on call for both of them. So we're doing a quick live here just to get you guys set up, and then jump right into it, and they can join you on the call.
Absolutely. So Poland versus Argentina really quickly. We talked about this Polish roster on Monday when we were here doing the show. Jan Firle setting, either Karol Butryn or Maciej Muzaj at opposite.
Probably, it looks like they're running with Muzaj on the opposite.
Yeah, you've got Kokonowski and probably Kłoś in the middle.
Yep.
You've got Fornal and then probably Shimura on the left, you think?
I would almost go with Kolek.
Kvolic or Lipinski, or they've got options there.
On the left side right now for Poland, they've got so many different ways that they can mix and match. They've got different guys who show different looks. You know, the difference between a guy like Kolek versus Lipinski is a big difference, right? I think Fornal is going to be their L1, and everyone's going to kind of move around him. I definitely think he's the biggest talent they have right now on the left side.
I agree with that, and then Popivchak at Lib, he's probably the second best Polish libero. So
you can even make an argument, I think, that he's like starting to push for the first.
It's close.
Like where did Czartoryski play this year?
Resovia, okay. Yeah, we just didn't see them that much because they weren't in CV. But yeah, this Polish team, I mean, it's a B team. We've talked about it, but Poland of all countries is able to put out a B team and still perform really well. The question for me is, this is the first match of the Nikola Grbić era.
True.
How much does he even know about what he has right now, and how long of a leash will he give whoever he decides to start?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I did speak to him on Monday morning, right after their practice, and for him, it's really figuring out, you know, who are they going to be able to leverage to play in the World Championships come the fall, right? It looks like all of the big names, Semeniuk, Slivka, Kaczmarek, Kurek, and Janusz, Czartoryski, they're all joining for week 2. And it's really the opportunity for these guys to fill in those extra roster spots. So I don't think we're going to see any of the bench guys like Kozub or any of those backup guys. Probably won't even see Butryn at all. Maybe a little bit. Depending.
I hope so.
I hope so too. I think he has a bit of that the right side position has a long list of quality names there for Poland. So they're fighting for like the 3rd spot at best there. Injuries permitting, of course, everyone stays healthy, but I really think that it's going to be trying to figure out who's going to be that like 4th outside, right? Because we can assume right that, well, actually maybe 3rd, 4th, depending on Leon's health, come to the World Championships.
Right, we talked about that on Monday. Yeah, I think second libero's Popivchak's spot for sure.
100%.
I think second setter will probably come down to either Filje or Łomacz, because Drzyzga's no longer in the mix.
I would love Firle.
Me too.
I'm not a big fan of Łomacz.
I agree, and so I think that Firle has a lot to prove here. Fornal is pretty much a lock, but then maybe one more outside hitter, and then maybe a middle. Like without Norbert Huber and with the retirement of Peter Nowakovsky, Karol Kłoś has the option to get back into the mix for the senior A team. Yeah. After, I mean, he's been there forever, but he's been guy number 5 or 6 for a little while now. Be curious to see that,
because there is still Bieniek, who I always forget when I name that list of missing names.
Kokonowski, Bieniek, and now you need one, actually maybe 2 more.
I'd say you need 2 more.
So you've got Urbanovic, you've got Poremba here, Kokonowski and Kłoś. So like maybe one of those guys comes from either Poremba or Ivanovic. I don't really know much about those guys, so we'll see.
No. Yeah, we'll have to see. Those are going to be the big question marks for them. But you're right. First match here for the Grbić era, and I'm sure he's just going to be kind of feeling out some of the guys, getting to know them, getting to learn how they tick. Especially these guys, because he already knows so many of those other starters from his time at Zaksa, so he doesn't really need to go through the process. We're getting a shout out right there from the FIVB delegate right now, Mr. Mushtaq Mohammed from Trinidad and Tobago right now.
I met him earlier this morning at the hotel. Great guy.
Oh yeah, I drove him around years ago when we held an event in Ottawa, so we're homies. But yeah, I think we're in for a banger here. I'm really excited for it.
Argentina as well. This team is coming off Olympic bronze. Just an all-time great performance by them last summer in Tokyo. Some of those starters, but not many. Bruno Lima's here.
Top scorer from Tokyo, right? So that's a big piece.
Martin Ramos and Agustin Loser in the middle. That middle matchup against whoever Poland puts out is going to be really fun. But then it's the outside hitters that I'm curious about. You've got Ezequiel Palacios, who we've seen. but they're looking for one other guy. So Luciano Polonsky's here. He played in both Italy and France. I was doing my research earlier for this match, and so much of Argentina's roster played in France this year. It's crazy.
France just loves Argentinian
Yeah.
players. The
Style makes sense.
The style, the physicality, the level of skill. Both countries are very, very high level of skill. There's a lot of transfer there.
Agreed. And so we're going to see, I think, a fun version of Argentina, especially if it's Matias Sanchez setting.
Which
5'8".
Which it will be. Yeah.
5'8", 6 rotations starting center.
5'8" on the roster. Like, let's be very clear about this, because he's 5'8", and I think some of those liberos that they have for Argentina are 5'8", and I think he's punching closer to 5'6".
He is a small man.
His forehead is the bottom of the tape.
But he's so much fun to watch.
So much fun to watch.
Love watching him, and that will obviously be a huge blocking liability against Poland. Their backup setter, Hiraudo is his name, much bigger guy. He's like 196.
Mm-hmm.
He played in France as well, so they might bring him in, kind of like we saw James Shaw come in for Josh Tuning
on that like
the 5'2".
Yeah, the 5'2"
just
sub.
To bring a taller blocking setter. Yeah. Not a bad move, but yeah, I think this offense is Sanchez's to run, and then we've got 2 world-class liberos, Popivchak and Denani. That's going to be really fun.
Yeah, both of those guys are going to be able to put on a show tonight, defensively and in service. I'm expecting a big banger match from this one.
Me too.
I'm expecting 2 teams that have a lot to play for, and they're going to come out swinging, because these are 2 teams who, Poland expects not only to be in the playoffs, but to be in the finals.
Every tournament that Poland plays ever, their expectation is to win.
100%, and then that's where it should be.
Right.
And Argentina wants to prove that last summer wasn't just a fluke.
That's right.
Both
ranked top 10 in the world, world ranking points on the line. Like, if Argentina were to beat this Polish team, that would be huge, because all 4 teams today in the 2 matches, all top 10 in the world.
Yeah.
So the movement in world ranking points after, by this time tomorrow, is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
we saw
that other match.
Yeah, that other match. That other match is going to be absolutely great. I've got to see France play in person already.
Right,
They've already played, and France has played a lot of exhibitions. They played against the Netherlands. They played against Canada here for 2 matches, and that's the most complete roster we have so far in this Nations League. You've got Ngapeth, you've got Tilly, you've got Brizard, who's quote unquote the best player in the world. Cheninese, Petri. So they've got their guys, and for Gianni, once again, I did another interview with him, and he knows Irvin from the year at Modena this year, but he's getting to learn the other guys. He's getting to learn to see how they play. And that's really why I think that they brought some of their big guys. He talked about this summer that it looks like it's a long summer before the World Championships, but you really don't have that much time to train with everything going down.
It's all competitions. It's not that much training. So you got to do all the learning here.
Exactly. So this is where Gianni gets to learn about the other players. He gets to learn about Patry. He gets to learn about Brizard. He gets to learn about the other guys on that roster. But on the other side of the net, you've got a very clean, watching Italy practice on Monday night. It was the quietest practice I've ever seen.
So methodical,
every contact is perfect.
Every contact is perfect. It's when we were talking about Italy winning last year's European Championship with a roster that's not that dissimilar to this.
No, yeah.
Really, the only big piece missing is Micheletto.
Yeah,
but
and Lavia.
But
Matteo Piano.
Those are big losses.
Yeah.
But Gianelli's here.
Here.
They've got Romano and Pinali are both here. They've got some middle talent here. They've got Bottolo and Recine who are.
That's where I think that's a very high skilled pair for the left side. But I do think you're missing a little bit of physicality. You're missing a little bit of size, and especially up against a big blocking team like Poland, like France with Patry on the right side, with Brizard on the right side, with those middles that can close, and Cheninese, who we saw on Saturday night. He takes up so long. He takes away so much space because he's able to penetrate so far into the other side of the court. So they may have some struggle getting around the big block of France.
I agree, and that's going to put a huge premium on Gianelli's performance. If he starts even, Marco Faloschi's the backup setter, can their offense get the most out of what they have in all these situations? And of all teams that can do that, it's the Italian system.
100%.
But this French team, with the roster that they have, especially their serving prowess. They might be the best serving team here as well. A lot of pressure
without
everywhere.
a doubt. We saw all that pressure. We saw the pressure from Engapeth on the baseline on Thursday night against Canada, and then we saw the pressure from Patry on the baseline Saturday nights against Canada. Because Odds got it to Tilly's been dropping bombs there. Luati is an option for them as well coming off the bench. So they've got a lot of options there.
If there's going to be a weakness for France, it's second middle and libero, because no Grebennikov and no Le Goff. And no Daryl Boutour either. He was supposed to come, but I think he's injured in a minor way. So they're going to be looking for some pretty new character in the middle. I'm not totally sure who it's going to be yet. Yeah. And they've got two options at libero, but obviously either is a drop-off from Grebennikov.
Yeah, 100%. But like once again, like I think for France, it's that opportunity to see who's going to be filling in.
Yep.
Right? Like who's
going to be that bottom half of the World Championship roster.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's an opportunity for them to kind of to figure some things out.
On Italy, same thing.
Oh, absolutely on Italy. For me, one of the big pieces that I'm really excited to see is Romano on the right side.
Me too.
Because for Italy to be, like we've seen, especially with the Trentino boys, you know that they can run that 3 outside hitter system with Micheletto, Lavia, and then probably Ricine. Maybe. I don't know if it works as well with
Ricine or Bottolo. Like
Bottolo, yeah.
You'd
no,
be
I would
putting Lavia across from the setter like he did at Trentino.
But if they're going to want to be able to go to a traditional lineup, I know you have Zaitsev, but Zaitsev's a big question mark right now. He's a massive question mark for me. Mostly because not only is he starting to fade a little bit, we did see some very nice versions of Zaitsev throughout the Scudetto playoffs with Lube, but still not back to that peak form, and I don't know if we're ever going to see it again. So they're really going to need a right side who's going to be able to step in and dominate. And we saw that flash of brilliance last year from Romano in the Eurovolley finals. So I'm really excited to see how he establishes himself.
I agree. The world's kind of missing a left-handed opposite now as well.
Yeah, 100%.
And we might see Massimo Muzai later today as well. I mean, he can be that guy sometimes. Very, very streaky. Romano a little streakier. His floor is higher. His ceiling maybe not quite as high as Muzai, but I like his consistency and his serving.
Absolutely.
I'm excited to see him serve. Of all the Italian players that might be able to put more pressure on France from the service line, he's really the only one that comes to mind. Well, Bottolo's a fireball from the line, too. He's just kind of error-prone. They're going to have to serve that France team pretty tough.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, with that passing line from France, I think it's going to be Muriel and then Libero, but still you got Engapeth, either Luati or Tilly. Both those guys pass dimes, right? So, and then you've got they're going to be passing to Brizard, who we saw him do some absolutely nasty things on Saturday night. Run in the middle from his chest from the attack line.
I cannot wait to watch him really play a match in person.
100%.
And it's this French team, like what they did that really impressed me at the Olympics last year was they were the team that played the loosest, the most free, the most fun. They were smooth. They were chill. They felt no pressure. Whereas we saw so many other teams crumble under the pressure that is the Olympic Games. And this French team just never really has that. Is that going to carry over to the Andrea Gianni era? That's what I'm really curious about.
I'm very curious about that as well, too. Because, Benjo actually talked about it watching France in my interview with him the other day about watching France in the Olympics and how they were playing under Tilly and they were having so free and having so much fun, which was kind of an antithesis to what that French team used to be under Laurent Tilly, right? Who was, very much like Glenn Hogue, where, like the system and the style of play and like where it takes this very seriously. But then he kind of opened up nicely and just let the boys play over the Olympics, and it really worked well for that roster, too.
It did. So we're going to get our first taste of all four of these teams behind me. I mean, just about 30 minutes till first serve of Argentina versus Poland. France versus Italy coming up later on tonight. Both matches live on volleyballworld.tv. I will be on the call for both. Let's see.
I'm real quick just checking to see if there's any...
we've got actually a lot of action in the chat, which is cool. I haven't read any of the comments.
There's nothing. There's no questions here. It looks like
we like seeing people active. Glad you guys are liking what we're doing here. But
looks like Chujax is going after Ronnie in the chat. So
that's what we like to see. Yeah,
that's pretty much par for the course right there.
And that right there is about my cue to go up in my little hidey hole and start calling these games.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Rob, I'll see you in a few hours. Enjoy the games.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to be here drinking beers. Sitting courtside.
I'll try and grab one with you. If the first match is like a 3-0 or something, I'll come get a drink or two before game number 2.
Okay, yeah, get a little loosey-goosey before getting on that stream, and then we'll go to Craft afterwards. No free ads, though.
Thanks for watching, people. Enjoy the matches. We might do the same thing we did last night and go live on Instagram after, maybe.
Yeah, I think live on Instagram post match
I kind
is
of
good.
like that. Yeah,
but we're gonna film at the same time, upload it right away, just to give you. I like this. Preview the games beforehand, do a little wrap up afterwards. You guys along for the ride. If you guys want to have asked any questions for after the game, shoot us a message on Discord, on YouTube, whatever it is. We'll try to address them in tonight's show. And make sure you subscribe to the Volleyball Source Volleyball Source 2.0 YouTube channel, and come join us on Discord as well. All right.
Gonna be a fun week, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the games. We'll see you next time.
Peace.